Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 11 of Why We Love Horror. We had our 10th anniversary, 10 fucking years we've been doing this, and I still don't have Nazario here. What the fuck? But today, I got the man, the myth, the legend. He's turning something. It's Thomas. How's it going, buddy?
What's going on, man? You finally got me on one of these shows. I'm excited.
Yeah, I know. You were fucking irritated as shit when you found out someone got the thing before you. So we had to figure out something for you, man. But I'm glad I finally got you on. You know, it took a little bit. You know, there's some issues here and there, but we're fucking here and we're ready to go, man. So, first question I always like to ask is, what was your first experience with horror?
First experience with horror. Wow. Let's see. I don't know. I was like 6 years old, and I think I remember seeing A Nightmare on Elm Street, and it scared the shit out of me. I was just, I don't know. I was obsessed at that point because like it was a new feeling. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand death per se at that point. I mean, maybe the concept, but to see people killed in such a brutal manner, I don't know. It's kind of intriguing.
Yeah, that, like, especially that opening where you just see her having a nightmare of him and the long fucking arms running down and the shadow, just seeing the shadow of him throughout. It's fucking nightmare. And that's how fucking Wes Craven came up with him. He saw that dude outside his house. He scared the shit out of him. Well, I gotta fucking write this someday. Well, that's a good, that's a good fucking experience. That's your first experience with Nightmare on Elm Street. That's a good fucking time.
Yep.
What would be some of your favorite horror scenes in general?
In general, favorite horror scenes. Let's see. I love the chest burster scene in Aliens. Or Alien. Sorry.
Good shit.
The hand going through the body in the thing.
Yes.
The blood flowing down the hallway in The Shining. And like you just mentioned, I guess the whole scene between Freddy and Tina up to her death. That's probably my favorite.
Oh, dude, those are all fucking great, man. Everything about The Shining, with the blood coming down the elevators, shit like that, is fucking. Oh man, it's so fucking good. It's so psychological. It's insane. And the thing, always the defibrillator scene, I fucking love, man. Going through the thing and then just, it's such a great fucking jump scare there.
It definitely is.
So fucking fantastic. Fucking great choices, man. Okay, so you brought up a lot of 80s and some 70s in there, but what would be your favorite decade of horror?
I mean, I'm an 80s baby. I like 80s movies. I think my bread and butter is kind of like 90s. I prefer a lot of the older, well, I'll say later 90s films. But I gotta be honest, man, I kind of like the 2010s. I think with the advances in like technology and good CGI when it's done correctly, it looks fantastic. And there's, it's a new dawn on of like good horror films coming out, and I mean, we're not in short supply these days.
That's an interesting. I like that choice, man. There is a lot, like, especially there were new franchises that were born from it, or actually, at the very least, made the resurgence back with like Saw coming back. They had them in 2000s, but then you got Jigsaw, you got Spiral coming back, you got the Conjuring universe throughout. Yeah, right. I like that. And then of course you got Hereditary, The Witch, Midsummer. You got those coming. Yeah, I agree with you. It is like, with CGI, when it's done well, they've been having some good shit in horror movies recently. And then they're bringing back some slashers too, man. You got like Hell Night, which is ridiculous, but it's like that fun 80s ridiculous style where it's just fucking a dude at a carnival just wrecking shit up. I like that shit. And then Final Goals, which you told me to watch, which I love. It's great fucking shit, man. That's a good time. Now, before we continue, I'm always forgetting this shit, but buy our shit. There is a TeePublic sale right now. I got an email about it. I think it lasts the weekend. I think it's like 30% off of shit. So if you haven't bought our shit, you want to, this is the perfect time to fucking do it, man. I think they're like $13 per item. Usually, that's usually the fucking sale they got on. Now, We've talked about your scenes. We've talked about the decade. What would be your all-time favorite horror film?
I guess it depends on the day. Like when you ask me,
Okay.
uh, obviously, The Shining and The Thing, Nightmare on Elm Street, but I think Alien might be my favorite at the moment.
Dude, that's a great fucking pick. So claustrophobic, man. Sigourney Weaver is fucking amazing in that. Harry Dean Stanton, I fucking love to death in that movie. What what draws you to Alien?
Well, I love space, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. Like you said, it's something about being trapped within this, giant spaceship. There's nowhere to go. You're trying to find answers. You find out that the company's screwing you over because they want this life form. You got an android that pretty much goes ape shit, and there's nothing you can do. So I don't know. It's something that I wasn't expecting when I first saw it, and it scared the shit out of me. So,
Dude, do you remember when you first saw it? Do you remember what
uh,
age?
actually, I think I was about 10 or 11.
Dude, okay. Yeah, that's a perfect age for that because you're not too young for it like me where you're going into psychotic shit. But you're like that right age to where you can deal with that type of shit. I like that. That's good shit. Now, when I was asking you, we talked about this a little bit earlier. When I was asking you to pick a movie, you came up with different options, and they were all good fucking options, man. And you went with one that wasn't as surprising to me, but I still think is a great fucking vampire movie. And it's from the 2000s, which is fucking awesome that you didn't pick 80s, 90s. 30 Days a Night. Fucking 30 Days a Night. So, what made you choose this one over the others that you suggested?
Well, I took your advice and I kind of went with something I just wanted to watch. Vampires are probably my favorite type of horror creature. I love the mythology behind it. But ultimately, it came down to I think it stood out to me in the time of release when I saw it. Because when you think about it, in like the 80s, there was so many great vampire movies. Then you went to the
Yeah.
90s. The later 90s, you had Interview with a Vampire. Let's see, I got a list. Um, the Addiction, From Dusk Till Dawn in '96, Blade in '98, and John Carpenter's Vampires in '98. And then it kind of shifted as it hit the millennium to it went kind of more like emo, kind of
Yeah.
too much gothic with like the Forsaken, Queen of the Dam. You had your Underworld, Blood Rain, and then Ultraviolet. But then this movie came out, and it was like vampires were kind of scary again. They were kind of menacing. They kind of, I don't know. It was a breath of fresh air and something that I guess at the time didn't realize I missed. But then after that, you kind of went more emo with like Twilight and stuff this way. But at the same time, it brought in stuff like Let Me In, Daybreak is really good. Um, Thirst, it led to better vampire movies. But like I said, it was kind of like the time it came out. It stands out as memorable to me because they were going down a path I wasn't really digging.
I'll agree with that. In the early 2000s, with the exception of there are exceptions, of course, like Blade and stuff like that I enjoyed, but they went away from having vampires being scary and more to, like you said, emo wise and dramatic. And yeah, there's some good in there mixed in there, but for the most part, I was missing the scary fucking vampire shit. And I agree that when this came out, when I saw the trailer for this, it just looked fucking brutal, and I was all fucking ready for it, man. It's an amazing fucking choice for a resurgence of vampire movies. It's a great choice, and it's based off the comics/graphic novel of it, which I think is great. Did you read the graphic novel?
I did not. I checked it out like a couple days ago because I wanted to see what was up, and not really a fan. Not gonna lie. I like the adaptation of the film adaptation better. So
Yeah, I also have not I actually haven't checked it out. I've been meaning to because I'm very curious what changes there are in it. But for the most part, I have not gotten to it. Okay, so the setting. This movie is about an Alaskan town, Barrow, I think it's Barrow, that these vampires show up and they fucking just wreak havoc, but they do it strategically. They take out the power, they take out the helicopter because of the rotor and shit like that, and then they just start wrecking havoc on the town. And they send in the stranger, fucking played by Ben Foster, which is amazing, to kind of scope it out in a way and kind of just start like killing the dogs and shit like that. What do you feel about the setting?
Well, you forgot to mention that obviously the title is 30 Days of Night.
Yes, it all takes place 30. Yeah.
There's no sunlight for 30 days, which is just insane. And the vampires are like, why haven't we done this before? Like, we should have known about this for the longest time, but here we are. For me, I guess anything with snow, it's kind of like my favorite setting for movies. That's on Earth. Let me clarify. But like snow has this, I don't know, it kind of becomes a character in the film. Almost in every film that is used correctly, get snowstorms, blizzards, and it affects how the characters travel from one place to the next. I don't know, it's something about it.
And see, with this especially, like having them on like the roofs and shit, where you can barely see because of like the blizzard or the snow and shit, and they're just crawling on the roofs, waiting to attack people. I think that's like having 30 days a night, and this takes place throughout the 30 days. Like it cuts from the first day to like the 17th day, I believe, and then goes on to the ending, right? The day, like the night before it's about to hit the sun. And they use it so brilliantly where they show like half the town gets the fuck out of Dodge before 30 days a night hit. So there's only a few left, which is perfect for this type of story because then you don't have an insane amount of fucking crowds around that.
Right. Well, they also use they take a chance during the blizzard and they can sneak around without being heard or seen, to get supplies and stuff like that too. So, I mean, it kind of comes to their aid as much as it hinders them during this event.
And Jay, this is 30 Days of Night. Close. But yes, we were talking about the vampire film, 30 Days of Night. Okay, so we talked about a little about the strategies that the vampires use. What did you think of how they did it compared to how other movies use the vampires, how either they're just going in brutally fucking slaying people without a care in the world, and the others that are taking...
They use their charm and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was very... I don't know what the word is. I'll just say it's clever. Because they
it's true, Jay. It's true.
That's very fair. That's funny. It's clever because they use people as bait, make them.
Oh yeah, that one scene with the chick, like she's just crying out for people, and they're about to go and help her, but then they see them crawling on the roofs, looking out.
Yeah,
it is fucking brilliant, man. I love the fact that the first thing they do is they take out the helicopter and then they go to the power plant to take out the dude there so they can cut the power off. So they're cutting the way out and they're cutting the fucking lights. You can't see what's coming. Now, what would be your favorite character out of all these guys?
The head vampire Marlowe is fantastic. But I mean, who are we kidding? Ben Foster as the stranger is just great. That's got to be. I'll give an honorable mention to the little girl vampire.
Oh yeah,
terrifying. She's sitting there eating a body, and then she's like, "I'm done playing with this one now," and then, "Oh shit, please go."
Yeah, the reason I love Ben Foster is that dude just goes into each role and goes fucking full blown into it, man. You look at Hostage, he's that fucking crazy psychotic guy. You look at here with his fucking teeth and just his mannerisms are fucking insane. 310 to Yuma, same thing, man. He just has that psychotic fucking ability in him, and he fucking plays it brilliantly. Like
I was gonna say he's very method. I mean, like
oh
I
yeah.
was watching the behind the scenes on this, and like there's a scene in it where he gets shot. They had something clamp on his toe, like he requested it, so that he had actual like agonizing pain during the scene of him getting shot.
Dude, that is awesome. Like I love the scene where he is he's menacing towards Josh Hartnett, and he has the foam coming out of his fucking mouth. He's so pissed off, and it just looks so freaky. And then he just has like the saddest ending to his character. Like this guy, all he wants is to be turned by them, and he finally looks like he's about to give it to him, and just snaps his fucking neck. Just gone. He gave them what they wanted, and then they had no fucking use for him anymore. And speaking of the little girl, you brought up the little girl, which I fucking think that's a terrifying fucking scene with that little girl. I got a picture of her as well. Let me find this little girl right here. Look at this fucking thing, man. She is fucking freaky. Like, just to have her just start charging at them. Just start fucking shit up.
It's got to be one of the best jump scares in the film.
Yeah. She is fun. And this gives a perfect look of how when they're turned and the vampire teeth, they look so fucking brutal, man. It is insane the makeup job they do with these guys.
I agree.
And then you brought up Marlowe, which again I found a pretty cool picture. This one was a little bit harder to find great fucking pictures. Unfortunately, I was trying to look pretty well for a couple of them, but couldn't find a lot. But this one I thought was pretty cool. Towards the end of showing the town on fire, and you got the majority of them just sitting there waiting. And I just love that when they're burning down the town, they know they're trying to wreck of any instance of them being there, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah, that's also too. Like you said, Marlowe, played by the great Danny Houston. He's like, hey, look, we've hidden the shadows. We made them believe we didn't exist for so many years. We can't leave any evidence. Let's burn this whole town down. It's like stack the bodies, and it's pretty brilliant, actually.
Yeah. Again, bringing in that strategic move they have, and also trying to get the rest of them to come out. And just knowing that Josh Hartnett comes out to wreak fucking havoc is amazing. Now, one character you didn't bring up, which is like, I love Ben Foster in this, but my favorite character is the guy that isn't unfamiliar with fucking vampires. He's not unfamiliar with vampires, and that's why. And I wish he would have been in more of John Carpenter's vampires. I love this dude so fucking much, but it's not that. What the fuck? I brought the wrong one. Hang on. God damn it. Fucking things all named the same. This is what happens. All these fucking tabs are named the same. 151. What the hell is 151? There we go. What the fuck? Did I erase it? No. Oh, no. God damn it. Okay,
I think
here we go.
what you're talking about.
I got it now. Yes.
One of the best.
Jr.
There
This guy is fucking amazing. I love this guy.
I love his character too. It's like he's kind of like an outsider. He's a loner,
Yeah.
and like at the beginning of the film, there's an exchange between him and Josh Hartnett's character, and he gives him a ticket because like oil is leaking, and his deputy looks at him. He's like, "Why don't you leave the guy alone, man? You're giving him a hard time. He's actually pretty cool." And he's like, "I give him a ticket so it makes him know that he is a part of this town." So
Yeah.
I love that one little moment between them.
Because it explains him fully. It explains explains three characters there. Josh Hartnett is doing it for a good fucking reason. The sheriff, the deputy is feeling bad for him. And then you got Mark Boone, who just wants to be left alone, but in a way he wants to be a part of it, and which comes up when he fucking uses that fucking snowplower to wreak fucking havoc on them, man. And then it's he has that sacrifice moment, and it kind of works with the Kong Skull Island thing, to where he has a moment and then just gets fucked. Like he
Yeah,
blows himself out of the building.
yeah, well, he doesn't succeed in killing himself. That kind of.
No,
But yeah, he gets a face plant in the snow, and then he's like, "You're not going to eat me alive," and they didn't eat him alive.
no.
Instead, he gets stomped on.
Oh yeah, in a brutal way, man. You can hear that fucking crunch of the skull when it happens.
That skull was actually put into the prop head, so like it's not a sound effect; it's added in post.
Dude.
The sound of a skull crushing. I thought it was a nice touch to it.
Oh, for sure, man. It is so fucking great. The effects in this movie in general, be it the sound effects, the special makeup effects, they're all fucking brilliant, man.
I believe Weta did the practical effects for this.
Ooh, did Wetter do it? Oh, dude, that's 100% believable right there, man. They do great fucking work. What would be your favorite kill or kills by the vampires?
I mean, it's got to be the skull crush, though, right? I mean,
That is fucking great. I like that. Because it doesn't like it's not them biting them. It's literally just showing their brute fucking strength. Now I kind of cheated on mine, and you guys already saw the quick picture of it, but I'm gonna bring it up again. It's this scene, man. This fucking scene throughout the town where they're just fucking like slashing at people, jumping on people. It lasts for a good like 2 minutes, and you just see them fucking destroying this town. There's so many brutal kills that you see in this. The clotheslining people, the slashing people in the knees, jumping on people, biting the shit out of people. It is such an insane fucking scene. Blood is all over the fucking town by the end of it. Cars are turned over. It's such a great way to show just how quickly they go through the rest of this town.
definitely a menacing presence.
What would be your favorite scene in general?
Favorite scene. Okay, for the vampires, like I said, the best jump scare is the little girl. I think that entire scene with the little girl is pretty much perfect. All the way to the end where they pin her up against the wall and the younger brother has to take the axe and chop her fucking head off. Like, that's fantastic. I think between the humans, well, technically there's a vampire in it. It's when the vampire attacks Billy and Billy has to throw the vampire into the grinding machine.
Yeah.
And he gets his hand or whatever cut off, and he comes out screaming. And as he's screaming, he's turning. Josh Hartnett has to take this axe and just chop through this dude's neck until his head comes off. It's great practical effects, and at the same time, it's brutal as hell.
Oh yeah, that is one of the most brutal scenes of this movie. Is that fucking just chopping with the fucking axe, man? Because he doesn't get it in that first swing. He's got to do multiple fucking swings to get him. One of my favorite scenes in this is Josh Hartnett getting the upper hand on them for like the first time, and it's when he goes into his grandma's house with a UV light, and the main female vampire comes, but she gets the go ahead to go in there, and she busts the door down and then just fucking gone with the fucking light. It's so brutal seeing her scarred half of her body, and that's where he gets fucking Marlo so fucking pissed. That's where Marlo is just not taking any more shit. He fucking kills her, and then he just goes fucking brutal on the rest of them. He wants to fucking destroy all of them. It is such an intense scene. And then my other one is when is it Billy kills his family? What the other sheriff, the one that with his leg like with the guy with his wife when he's going for his wife. His wife is being like thrown under the fucking houses and shit.
Oh yeah.
And then he goes to find her. He gets up, and then that fucking vampire just slashes at his fucking knee. One hit, his fucking knee's gone. And then you find out, like, you don't see him for a while.
Right.
And he's underneath, and it's because he's fucking turned.
Yeah, he's turned. He's able to stay outside for like 7 days. And then, you find out he's turned, and then Hartnett has to get the axe. That's where he first gets the axe kill. It's fantastic, dude.
It's fucking great.
But speaking of sad, crazy scenes, you brought up Billy. Like he
Yes.
ended up killing his family because he didn't want them to turn or be killed by.
Yeah.
And then he tried to kill himself, but the gun jammed.
And he doesn't want to be alone. That's why he signals for help. And he even admits in that scene, he goes, I shouldn't signal for help. I should have just been left alone. But he does it because he's just so fucking lonely by himself. And he must be fucking he must be devastated. What he you can tell in that scene, he is devastated by what he did to his family. He did it for see, that's where it it's a very weird sequence because you kind of feel for him, the reason he did it, because he did it for a good reason. He did it because he didn't want his family to experience what would have probably happened. But at the same time, it's kind of like the Mist sequence at the end where they think that the monsters are coming and it just does the shots off. Boom, boom. And he leaves, so he doesn't have enough bullets for himself, so he's left alive, and he gets out, and it's a fucking military showing up. Oh my god. That reminded me so much of that sequence of finally help came, and he's already done the bad shit to him. It's just terrible. Now, we talked a little bit about it, but how do you like the look of these vampires compared to other films? Especially films in the 2000s with vampires.
Well, compared to the 2000s, I mean, they look phenomenal. But I do like the design of them. Like the teeth are completely different than just your normal big fangs, and
yeah,
I don't know.
They kind of in a way look like part animals with their teeth, like sharp fucking animals. And you see it in some of the scenes where they bite in and just rip the neck clean off with one bite.
Yeah, they're not sexy. They're not the
no, not at all.
Sexy, sparkly, whatever vampires.
And it shows it goes in with I think the look goes in with the brutality of them as well. You look at that look that they have of each one, and then just fucking slashing it. Fucking, it's Cesario.
Wait, he actually showed up?
I know, right? This motherfucker, he shows up in the comments every now and again, but never on screen. Now, speaking of one dude that would come in and probably wreak havoc on this town with them, he's on the, okay, that's fair. He's on the app. How long do you think it would take Ash from Evil Dead to fucking obliterate these vampires? Do you think it'd take him the full 30 days? Or do you think he would he run away?
What weapons does he have?
I say he has his normal weapons of the shotgun, the chainsaw. Let's disregard the axe. Since Josh Arnett already has the axe, let's just say the chainsaw and the shotgun he has.
Also, what are his motivations? Just staying alive? Is he trapped here? You gotta set the scene. Set the scene.
Okay, let's look at it kind of like Army of Darkness towards the end, where he's tired of running. And now he's just kind of like the TV show in a way where he's now full-blown into fighting this evil, whatever it may be. So this time it's vampires. He's going in there to fight these fucking things.
I think he'd be smart about it. He'd figure out a way to, I don't want to say corner them, but somehow he would turn the tables and cause them to burn, maybe?
Ooh.
I don't know. I think he would survive. I really do.
Now, as we saw with Mark Boone Jr. using the shotgun, that the shotgun actually takes these motherfuckers out. Shotguns in this world, vampires can get taken out with headshots with shotguns, which is fucking brilliant. So he has that added advantage where he has his double barrel ready to fucking go. He's got the chainsaw, and the chainsaw does wonders, but he's got that fucking long range weapon as well.
Yeah, hunker down too. I mean, maybe just wait out the sun coming back.
Now, before we get to the end here, is there anything that we haven't brought up that you would like to bring up?
I don't know. I think some of the writing was a little questionable, but there were things that I did really love, like the fact that Stella and Eben are very estranged. She ends up getting stuck there, but they never fully go into why they were broken up. But it's kind of hinted at later on that she says a comment about, could you imagine bring a baby into this world, or maybe it's a good idea we didn't bring a baby in this world. She doesn't say it directly.
Yeah.
That was a nice little character beat. We didn't talk about him ending up, he has to like inject himself
Yes.
Billy's blood so that he can become one of them to fight them. And I mean, it's the ultimate sacrifice, but at the same time, it's pretty badass. Like,
Oh yeah. He even has a brutal kill. He got probably the most brutal kill of this movie. He punched through his fucking face.
scoop him up. First of all, he got his ass kicked at first.
Yes.
But you're right. When Marla like dives at him and he sticks his fucking fist to the dude's throat, like it's
gone. And it shows that ultimate shot that they usually do is just hand through the fucking fist. It goes from the fucking fist and you just see the opening. It's fucking great. Yeah, we did not bring that up. Josh Hartnett turns into a fucking badass towards the like he does get his ass handed to him in the first like minute of this fight. He's getting chucked everywhere. But then when he gets that upper hand and the other vampires just scatter. Like that's what I love about it is that they don't want any fucking they know the sun's coming up and they don't want any piece of this fucking dude. And they have that's the other sad sequence is him basically being hugged by
Stella.
Stella.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a vampire. Like it's one of the saddest moments in the film. It's like, let's go watch the sunset together. Or sunrise, I'm sorry.
And it's funny that that's the other character we're gonna bring up a lot with Stella. And she has a lot of fucking great moments throughout this film as well. She's the one that basically stops Ben Foster from getting in a fight with Josh Hartnett. She pulls the fucking gun on his ass.
Yeah.
And she even says, she goes, I'm saving you from basically getting your ass kicked by him. So you better just get your hands behind your back. Like, she is a great addition to this fucking movie. I love her little character beats with Josh Hartnett through it. And it does give that little sense of Josh Hartnett. Like, he does have some things to work through. Like, they both do. And especially when he finds out, like, he's not the one to even pick her up either. When she asks for the ride because she gets in the accident, he sends his deputy to go pick her up because he just can't do it. Because he tells her, call me when you actually want to talk. And then we'll talk. Because she tries to use the excuse, well, we can talk on the way of you giving me a ride to the airport, basically dismissing him. He goes, no, fuck that. you want to talk to me, you give me a call another time. But yeah, what from some of the writing standpoints, what didn't work for you in a way?
I don't know. I don't know if it was necessarily just the writing, but the fact they skipped over a lot of the days. I felt like they never really showed them eat whatsoever in the film. So it's like, where did the surplus of food come for all these survivors? And like, you jump 17 days, and I don't know.
Then you jump another like 12 days because literally they're just showing like 3 days throughout it.
That's true.
So yeah, that is an interesting point there.
I kind of didn't like that he could have fought the other vampires, but at the same time he just lets them leave. I don't know if that was a smart thing or.
I think it's the thing of they probably would have all scattered and he wouldn't have had enough time with the sunlight coming to actually fight them. Because they basically scatter and run away the moment he fucking puts that fist through the guy's face. So the moment they scatter, he probably wants to spend time with her. That's what I looked at it, is that he wants to spend time with her before he goes because he knows he's not going to go past this day. Because he doesn't want to be a vampire. He doesn't want to be a full-on vampire. So he only has a few more minutes before he's fully fucking turned. So he uses that to spend time with her before going out. So I guess in a way, like, it does kind of, I agree that maybe they should explain more of why the fuck a final battle didn't happen with all of them. But I think it kind of works with the fact that from an emotional standpoint, he wants to be with her rather than going after them and more than likely turning before he gets to all of them.
True.
But what I like to end it off on is a double feature. So I ask you, with this movie, what would you double feature with this movie?
I mean, you can never go wrong with The Thing. another snow film. You know, but like we just said, at the end they scatter. So I was thinking maybe of like, if you don't want to watch Blade, watch John Carpenter's Vampire. You got the
Ew.
hunt going after the vampires. There's some great kills in it. I rewatched it last night. I think it's fantastic. Still holds up.
That opening sequence of them going into that house and fucking going ballistic is one of my favorite sequences, man. It's amazing. It shows that they are, but like it shows how fucking as a team, even they have work to do because they got the new guy there that kind of almost fucks them. But for the most part, they're a unit and they fucking do it perfectly. And then it just cuts to them getting fucking destroyed within a night, which is fantastic.
Hey,
Like
Mark,
that's it.
Mark Boone Jr.'s in that too. So
Yeah, and that's I wish he was in it more, man. Like
Nice.
that's my only. That is my only criticism of John Carpenter's Vampires is I wish the entire movie was with that group, that involved that group, because I think there could have been so much great shit done with it. Like I get for story purposes why they had to make it like that to show how brutal this fucking main vampire is, but at the same time, I wish it was just more about the group and them still battling. They could still battle him, but show just the entire dynamic of that group. Like dynamic of that group is fucking brilliant, man. There's so many great characters throughout it, but I think that's a brilliant pick. 2 vampire movies back to back, both involving Mark Boone Jr. I think that's great. And I went a little different with my pick, but I went with one that has Josh Arnett. I went The Faculty because I think it's great to have him be more like the serious guy in 30 Days a Night, Battle of the Vampire. Then you go to Faculty where he's more of a sarcastic asshole, and he still saves the fucking day with his little drug he puts him in, which again is a great homage to The Thing with the little testing sequence that they do throughout it. And Elijah Wood, guaranteed to jack you up and fucks up the maniac. It's fucking amazing. I love that fucking scene so much. So I went with that. It's just a fun time. Both of them are just fucking fun times throughout.
I have to agree. I love The Faculty. Like I said, I love 90s, so it's one of my. I wouldn't put it in the top 10, but it's probably a top 20 90s horror film for me.
I like that. That's a good spot. But okay, we are ending it here, man. This was a fucking fun time.
Yeah.
You brought up some good shit. This was a great pick. I like this pick. And we're definitely going to have you on again for something. I may have something in the works. Nazario and Jay, thanks for jumping on in the comments, man. Appreciate you both. Nazario, I'm going to try to get you. You know, I'm saying it right now. I'm not even going to give you a fucking choice. You're coming on next week. Next week, we're getting Nazario.
We're making you do it.
Yeah, you're getting on this week.
Buy their shit.
Yes, always buy our shit. There's a fucking sale going on, so t-shirts should be $13. So if you haven't bought one, you want to buy one, you got the Great Fucking Movies t-shirt. We don't have Why We Love Horror video store shirt. Yeah. We don't have the Why We Love Horror yet, but it should be coming. I have something planned that I'm trying to do with that, so we'll see if that works out. Everything else this week, we're going to have a couple more M ranks. We may have some special shows in between, but definitely Why We Love Horror comes on, and M Ranked is coming this week. So tune in for that. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time. We don't have music, so we just dance off to nothing.
Go watch horror movies. If you're not watching horror, what are you doing?